Welcome to Vernissage TV. I'm Theodore Bouloukos in New York, and we're with Mary Spirito, director of 303 Gallery in Chelsea, but here an independent curator at Cuchifritos in the Essex Market on Delancey Street on the Lower East Side, where she's put together quite a show of three really interesting things that take their premise from the sort of psychophysical writings of Oliver Sacks, who I guess wrote about this sort of inversion, perceptive inversion thing, where subjects would put inversion goggles on and kind of learn to readjust their sense of reality and environment, and so their sense
that became their new reality.
Right. So that their sensory perception was changed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then based on the amount of information we get and how we get it, that what we understand reality to be can be completely different from somebody else. So we have, and also the space between how some things that are real are harder for us to believe or accept, and how some things that are completely phantasmic and impossible are pretty easy for us to accept as reality, in quotes.
Right.
So with that, the first example of something completely phantasmic that's not real at all is Peter Kreider's sculpture called House Tornado.
Okay, well, he's constructed a house of cards, but he's actually turned it upside down.
Exactly.
Okay, so it has this kind of a cyclone effect, and it's amazing the way it turns into this like soaring bouquet.
Yeah, it has a lot of action in it.
Totally.
But when I first saw this piece, I said, oh, a house of tornado house. Oh yeah, sure. And then my mind went to, wait a minute, how does that happen? That's not real. So in that suspension, that's sort of where the tension of this piece is.
Exactly. You do that double take, and then you recognize that you're right. It's upside down. And when you installed it, did you? Is it in pieces? Is it fair to ask that?
It's totally fair to ask that. Yeah, he constructed it in pieces in the studio, and then put the pieces together in one larger piece here. But a lot of it came from him responding to the space, like the verticality of the piece, specific to Cuchifritos.
Which gives us a departure point for a moment to discuss the space. Is this your first time curating something here?
No, this is my second time curating a show at Cuchifritos. The last one I did 2 years ago with Christopher Ho, and it was another three-person group show, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great time, so I decided I wanted to do it again. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because this market has transformed itself as a from sort of an old style market to a kind of open air, fresh fish. It's almost like a combination.
You can buy votive candles, you can get your hair cut, you can get a smoothie, and get fish and vegetables.
You can get really good food here now, though.
Amazing food. This cheesemonger right here is fantastic.
Oh my God, I know that Wisconsin cheese. She sold me a sliver of $4.
Really?
Yeah, she's not stupid. Good stuff though. Yeah, it tied me over while I waited for you.
And also, there's a lot more contemporary art activity in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Creative Time is doing this amazing project with Mike Nelson, a stone's throw over here, and there's lots of amazing galleries too. So
well, with the new museum opening up down here, this is going to be the, will you move 303 over? No.
I don't think so.
No. I don't think Chelsea's going to be abandoned entirely. It's a little too dug in at this point.
No, but a lot of the new, younger, hip galleries are opening up down in this area. So it could become like a kind of a new Chelsea in a way.
Yeah.
If your understanding of what Chelsea is changes.
Right. Right.
Chelsea becomes the uptown, and uptown becomes
57th Street.
Exactly.
Sort of.
Maybe.
I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
So,
but, now, does he work with paper a lot, Peter?
He works with a lot of found objects.
Oh.
So he'll take everyday objects and alter them. Like he's done pieces with milk bottles and with plugs for extension cords, and cast them or made them larger to scale, and altering found objects.
It reminds me of that artist Ryan Sarah Murphy.
I'm not familiar with Ryan's work.
She uses a lot of found glass bottles and things like that, and she.
So it comes out of this Dadaist approach.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's a kind of a.
You say it's an object, you say it's art, and it becomes art.
Right, and
it's about the idea that you imbue onto it.
Right, and a kind of reassignment of what the object's supposed to be now that now that you've altered the perception of it. Okay,
exactly.
And distorted the notion of the real. So is it a house of cards, or is it, a cyclone of cards? But it's wild the way it grows into this sort of blossoming tree.
It has
It's
so much
just
energy.
beautiful.
It's really fantastic.
And it
yeah.
moves. This
It's
is the
very
word.
dynamic, yeah.
It really is. It's
and
very
adds a lot of energy to the space.
Totally, totally.
So then behind this piece,
Yeah.
should we take a look
Shall
at
we?
Moises
Yeah.
Simon's photograph?
Okay.
This photograph is by Moises Simon. It was taken in Baghdad in 2002. And let me see. Moises he's done photojournalism in areas of conflict for the past 8 years or so, but he's also been shooting his own work.
Oh.
So this is one of his own photographs, where instead of going to find the violence, his camera is turned more towards the effects of violence.
The effects of violence. So
Very poetic, beautiful work.
Absolutely. You see this sort of lone boy walking through this barren, war-torn field of
And the machine
abandonment.
gun is almost as big as him. He's probably like 10 years old.
He's a kid.
Sweet thing. And Moises is, he's published a couple of books with Arte books, one called This Is War, and there's another one coming out this fall.
Oh.
It's of, more recent photographs.
Now, are these artists that you represent at 303?
No, these are artists that are completely separate from 303 Gallery.
How did you find them?
They're people. Most of them are people's work that I've been following for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I've known Moises for about 6 years, and Peter, I've probably been following his work for about 8.
Does he usually show his photography in
He has shown it in galleries. He works with Roebling Hall in New York and did an exhibition in their satellite space down in Soho a couple of years ago.
Okay.
This is an artist that I've been looking at for a couple of years. She shows with Rivington Arms in New York, and her name is Shara Hughes. She's from Georgia, and she studied at RISD, and this is a brand new painting that she finished just in time for the show.
Wow.
It's called A Family Portrait. And with this piece, I saw it sort of as a bridge between the completely unrealistic tornado and the very realistic dust storm, where it's an interior space that doesn't exist in reality, but it's based on information we know of what a table looks like, what chair looks like, and it's completely fabricated, but it looks like it could be real and very intimate. And also the painting itself that's in this painting, for me, that has a lot to do with Renaissance court paintings, where a family portrait would be painted, presenting the family the way that the family wanted to be presented.
Well, you
powerful,
think of like
beautiful.
Las Meninas.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that has a lot to do with the information you present and if people believe it or don't believe it.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you can put anyone up on your walls, and the observer in your house will assume that they're related to you. So she's maybe playing with the idea of inventing her own past, and even her own family.
Well, that too, and also the way that the family's presented. In this particular case, they're more macabre and serious, so it's a little more sort of on the 80s Timothy Greenfield Sanders posing of art world, community members. Where they're not really like that, but that's the way that they're presenting themselves, and it alters people's understanding of what's real and what's not real, or what their understanding of what real could be.
Did she actually sort of appropriate some kind of physiognomical,
as far as I
gestures
know,
from her own family, or it's
all of this work is
conceived?
completely made up in her head. But in order for it to get in her head, it has to come from somewhere. Like she's looking at, especially this patterning
like
that's
the
going on here.
wallpaper, yeah.
She's looking at different kinds of painting and art history, and different kinds of figures that she's gotten into her mind from looking at lots of images. I mean, she's obviously looking at a lot of art history painting, and bringing all of her knowledge into that in a very intuitive way.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, does the
you very
space, Mary? It seems to me you can do. Well, you've got about 3 or 4 walls here. But does that dictate pretty much what you can do? I mean, the fact that it is it's tall, but it's fairly enclosed.
Yeah, I think when I was thinking about curating the show, I wanted something that would make sense in this intimate space and utilize the verticality of the space, and also the kind of audience that would be coming to it, that it would kind of be attractive to them and accessible, but be informative in some kind of way.
At the same time.
So that there are issues that deal with the very present day real issues, and also some other notions of what we understand to be real could be something that would make sense in this context. So yeah, the context and the physical space completely dictated.
Well, and you struck a balance.
You think so?
Yeah, between the three, absolutely,
Thank you.
because it is accessible. It very well plays with what we perceive as real and what's not, and And it's fun too, you know.
Thank you.
You know, it's a tidy show, but it's got a lot happening. And how would you say it's different from what you're able to do at a place like 303 that's, you know, very well respected and is a gallery that people graduate to?
Very good question. Well, you know, 303 Gallery's been around for a lot longer. And here, the reason I like to do independent curating outside the gallery is it's a little more relaxed for me. I can, you know, take risks and be a little more relaxed and loose and experiment with ideas. And so that's part of why I like doing this. But of course, I want as many people to see it, this show here, as they would, you know, a show in Chelsea. So I'd like for it to have a similar level of audience, but with a little bit more relaxed kind of energy.
And fun.
And fun.
I guess I'll leave it on this note. My inquiry, I'm wondering what's happening at 303 this season that you're excited about.
Oh, some fantastic things.
Yeah.
Well, right now we have a Collier Shore exhibition up, which is beautiful, drawings and photographs. And then November 3rd, we open a Thomas de Monde exhibition, which will be quite exquisite. It's called Yellow Cake, and it's a series of 9 photographs that make up one work of art. It's a brand new piece. It was shown in Venice for a short amount of time and will be the American premiere at 303 Gallery this fall.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And really, brava, Mary
Thank you, Theodore.
Spirito, on this wonderful, wonderful space.
And I hope
what
that,
you've
you know,
done
that people will still keep coming down to Cuchifritos and see lots of other shows. I mean, a lot of other dynamic people are curating shows here, and it's a really exciting place to be.
And it's got a revolving track of curators who...
Simone Subal from Peter Bloom did a fantastic show here recently. Christopher Ho, who's a great teacher and an art historian, did something here in the past year or so. Omar Lopez Shahood. So a lot of great, interesting, dynamic people. Yeah, we're lucky.
That's great.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
My pleasure.
Okay.